Hey everyone, happy Monday. I was about to say happy Friday. Happy Monday, 92 degrees. You all, I need to tell you what happened Friday. I wanted to re-record it because I don't know, I started talking about something else and I'm like, why am I talking about that in this video? So what happened Friday was I got a call from the gyno office, okay? And mind you, they've been calling me every week. I'm not lying. If it's not every week, it's every 2 weeks. And they've been calling to ask me for my mammogram. And Miss Moon, did you get your mammogram done? And Moon, your mammogram? And Moon, we can't refill your prescriptions until you get a mammogram. And I'm like, okay. And every other week I would tell them, yes, I got it done. I don't know when exactly, but it was either before or after October. I remember that because I was hoping to get points in October, right, for breast cancer month, but I didn't get any. So obviously I didn't go in October. And then finally one of them looks it up and she's like, oh yeah, you got one in September. And I'm like, great, everything's good then? Yes, you know. And I was like, okay, so then you all can, refill my prescription, right? And she's like, yes, we'll go ahead and send it out today. And I was like, okay, thank you. And Friday, I get a call again from somebody new. I did not know her, and I told her, I don't know who you are. Where are you calling from again? And she gives me the name of the doctor's office, okay? I'm gonna have to go all the way around because the line's all the way back here just to turn left. So she calls me from the doctor's office, right? And she's calling me and she's like, oh, this is Brittany. I'm just gonna use the name Brittany. This is Brittany, ma'am. I was just wanting to know if it's because we have a record here that you haven't gotten a mammogram done. And I was like, oh my goodness. And I was just like, Brittany, I don't know who you are. I don't know if you're new, but yes, I've had it done. Every week you all call me with the same question. I said, I only have 2 breasts. I don't have 6 or 8 breasts like a cat. I only have 2. And as far as I know, I'm only required to get 1 per year, And she's like, oh, yes, ma'am, but we don't have record of you. And I said, look, just last week, I kid you not, somebody else called me, and I'm so bad with names. Somebody else called me. They asked me the same thing. I said, and then she found it that I had it done in September. And she's like, but do you know where? And I was like, I don't remember the name of the place off the top of my head, but yeah, I got it done, And then she was like, oh, but you don't remember where? And she's like, you didn't go to the hospital to where we had referred you? And I was like, no, because they didn't answer. And I wanted to get an appointment right away. And that other place that I called, they were able to get me in, the following week. And she was like, oh, and I said, look, what was your name again? And she's like, Brittany. And she goes, it's okay. I'll look it up. And then I was like, okay, yeah, because I'm kind of worried now. I'm not sure who you are. I don't know who you are, and I'm kind of worried about this call, and like anybody would be concerned, right? I mean, if anybody calls you from a doctor's office, you've never heard of them, you're going to be like, who the hell are you? You're not going to be rude about it, but it's like, hey, I don't know who you are, So then I called back and somebody answers. I don't know if it's the regular receptionist or not. I really couldn't recognize her voice very well. And the first thing I said is, who am I speaking with? And she's like, how can I help you? And I said, well, this is is Moon Diaries, and I'm using my fake name, of course. And I'm calling because I just got a call that's really concerning me. And she's like, well, how can I help you? And then she's like, you're calling the blah, 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 blah doctor, And I said, okay. And then she just kept like going on and on and on. And how can I help you? And I thought it was the receptionist that I usually deal with, because the receptionist that I usually deal with, she knows who I am. She knows me by name. She's got a really good memory, with the faces and everything. And I kept telling her, oh, well, this is Moon Diaries, like, calm down, And she's like, how can I help you? And I was like, well, I'm trying to tell you, lady, And I finally told her, look, I said, somebody just called about my mammogram. And I had just spoken to somebody last week about it. I said, I'm not sure what's going on. And she's like, let me transfer you. And so she transferred me to one of the medical assistants in the back. And so the one in the back, she's like, Miss Diaries, we got all the information that we need. Sorry about that. We'll talk to you later. Thank you. Bye. And I was like, wait a minute. And I was like, what is wrong with everybody today? I said, the receptionist up front is in a bad mood. And I said, and I don't know why, it's Friday. And then she gives me her name and she goes, oh, you probably spoke to da-da-da, I'll call her Stacy, you probably spoke to Stacy. And I was like, if I did, I go, that's kind of weird. I go, because she knows me by name. And I kept giving her my name, but she just kept being like, and how can I help you? How can I help you? Right? And she's like, oh, I'm sorry about that. She's like, but I'm not in a bad mood. And then I told her, well, because I wanted to ask her about some other supplements that you all sell up front. I wanted to know what the price was, because I was wanting to, purchase them. And she's like, well, if you want, I can ask for you, And I said, yeah, okay. And so she asked for me. She comes back. She's like, they're $18, ma'am. And I said, oh, okay, that's a good price for them and everything. I said, and also, like, I wanted to know about, and I asked her a different question. And she's like, oh, yeah, you could do that too, and yada, yada, right? And I said, okay, well, thank you so much. And then we hung up. But you all, I was pissed. I was really pissed, honestly, because of that one receptionist that was answering me the way she was answering me. I don't know what was up her hiney, but I was just like, why is she being like that? Why is she being so hateful? And anyhow, and then my neighbor stops by that night, and I was like, great, here we go, and she comes in and everything, and we're there talking, and I'm giving her dog the treats that I, same treats I always give him, and I give them to her right in front of him, or rather, I gave them to him right in front of her. And I was asking her about, what's the name of that girl, yada yada, and then she gave me some other name about the girl that answers, because I just found out, you all, that not only I, but my neighbor and my cousin, my favorite cousin in the world, we all go to the same gyno, and I was just like, oh wow. And anyhow, she was telling me on how she had to complain about one of the assistants, one of the MAs that gave her an injection, and she gave it to her right on her sciatic nerve. And I was like, oh, ouch, and she's saying that it's the one that I like, because she says it's one of the new girls and I don't like her and yada yada. And I was like, really? I said, the one with the curly hair? I said, I like her. I don't know what her name is either. I said, I like her. I like when she gives me the injections, because with her, I don't feel them, and she's really quick about it. I said, with the other girl, this tall girl, and I can't even tell you how many times they've given me her name, but she's a tall girl with glasses, super nice, you all. She's super nice, but she she is very heavy-handed with the injections. I can feel everything. And then she gives them to me right close to my hip, which makes it even worse, you know. But I don't complain because I'm just like, you know, it goes away after a few minutes. It's not like it lasts all night or anything like that, you know. And so anyhow, she's like, no, I don't know, but I complained about that girl. And I go, wait a minute, are you talking about Brittany? And she's like, I guess so. I guess that's her name. I don't remember her name, but she's a new girl. And I was like, huh, you know. And then she proceeds to pull down her pants. And I was like, what are you doing? You know? And she's like, I'm going to show you where she gave me the injection. I'm a nurse, and I can tell you right now that where she put it is not the right place. And she goes on and on and on, right? And I'm like, my son is in his room. I would hate for him to step out into the kitchen area and see you with your pants down, and I'm standing here holding your dog. You know, like, he's gonna wonder what's going on. Two women, two middle-aged women and a chihuahua. What the hell is happening here? You know? And I'm like, she shows me one of her butt cheeks. I'm grossing out by this point, and I'm like, I don't want to look anymore, you know? And she's like, picture an X right here. And she's like drawing the X with her finger, you know, on her butt cheek. And she's telling me she gave it to me right here in the middle. That's where your sciatic nerve is. And I said, okay, can you please pull up your pants already? You know, because she just wanted to leave them down. And I'm just like, no. I know you're a nurse, but I'm not. And I know I was like studying to be one many years ago, like 24 years ago, but I didn't follow through for financial reasons. And I'm glad in a way that it didn't work out, because now everything makes me throw up, including your butt, you know. And I'm just like, oh my God, you know, why is everybody putting gas right now? What's going on? I put gas yesterday. It's only $2.39. I think it was like that yesterday too. And I put gas. Like, everybody's acting like, is there a storm coming? Is it the end of the world again here in the valley? Because whenever you hear of a crisis here in the valley, everybody runs to the store to buy all the toilet paper, all the water, and apparently all the gas. So anyhow, once she finally left, I went and I did my bike, right? I started watching videos, and lo and behold, you want to know what came up? A BBL video. My nightmare BBL. And it was different stories. And I'm like, fabulous, you know? And so I'm listening to it, you know, and there was this one girl that she says she was a stripper, or she is a stripper, and she was working with another girl that got that procedure done. And she says, and that girl that got it done smelled really bad. And she's like, I don't know if it was the injections, not the injections, the what would you call that? The incisions. Thank you, Moon. The incisions, she goes, but she like reeked really, really bad. And she goes, and no amount of perfume, no amount of baths, showers, no amount of all the oil in the earth would take that smell away, you know. And she had to stop hanging around her because of the clientele. The clientele can pick up the smell. And she's like, there's no way I'm going to keep hanging out with this girl, no matter how nice she is, because then my clientele is going to think I'm the one that smells, and they're not going to want to pay me anymore. I'm going to lose my job, you know? And I was like, well, yeah, it makes sense, right? But I was like, damn, like, I don't know why that BBL thing even ever became a thing, you know? I put a community post on my YouTube channel where I'm like, I prefer natural over this, you know, and I stuffed myself with some, a body wrap that I have. I put it in my backside to make it look like I got a BBL, right? And I was like, how can you walk around like this? How? Like, I don't, it's not attractive. It's not attractive, you all. You know what's attractive? Natural. That's attractive. And any man that goes after a girl that looks like that, there's something wrong with him. It's not even a fetish. I mean, there is something wrong with him, you know? So it was just one girl after another talking about their experience, and one of the other ones, she was a young girl. She was like 19 when she got it done, she was saying. And she said that it dropped. Like, it was perky at first. She liked it. She got it for the reasons of getting hips too, because I guess she had no hips. I don't have hips either. But, you know, and it gave her like that definition that she was looking for. But then after a couple of months, it dropped and it was like no longer natural looking. It just looked weird, you know? And then the hips, they have like an indent on both sides and it just looks totally off, right? And she was saying how she even had some removed to hope to fix it. And it didn't. It looks better than before, she said, but it didn't really fix it. And then some people were like commenting to her, like that she showed that all you have to do is lose weight. You know, honestly, I don't even think that would work. She said that she tried it and it worked a little bit. It helped a little bit. But I can tell you this much. I don't know if my husband's niece got that done, but all of a sudden she walked into a family get-together and she had this huge peach, you know? And we're like, what the hell? You know, where the hell did she get that done? You know, what the hell's going on here? Well, I found out from my sister-in-law that when she was living in San Antonio, when his niece was living in San Antonio, this is the aunt talking, that she had chin surgery to get rid of that fat under the chin, and she also had a tummy tuck. And the aunt that I'm talking to, my sister-in-law, also has a very good friend that's an RN. And she was saying, yeah, when you get a tummy tuck, where do you think the fat's going to go? You know, when you start gaining weight, it's going to go to the back, to the booty. And I was like, oh, really? And she's like, yeah, but I think she got her fat transferred back there, to be honest, because, I mean, that's way too huge, right? And I was like, oh, wow. Now, his niece doesn't have a cent, so I don't think she got a BBL, but I do think that she has gained weight, and maybe, like she said, like the RN said, it went to her backside. She's continuing to gain weight. I don't think that even if she lost weight, that's going to help anything. I really don't. I think it's there set already, you know? And it's kind of like with pregnancy, you know? Unless you go get surgery, you know, done. But it's kind of like pregnancy. You know, when you're pregnant and you have like your babies, you end up with this loose skin. Now, depending how much you get, depending if you wear that girdle, the faja, you know, it'll help, right? But with some women, it just doesn't. You're gonna have that little loose skin there. And even if you exercise, lose weight, you can do 1,000 sit-ups a day if you like. I don't recommend it, but you know, it's still gonna be there. It's very hard to get rid of unless you have surgery. But my point is that some things you just can't change. It doesn't matter if you lose weight. Okay, it does matter if you gain weight. It's going to make it more profound. It's going to make it worse. But if you lose weight, it's not going to help any. It's kind of set there already, you know? So I actually, you know, believe it or not, I did want to like enhance some areas of my body. But after seeing these nightmare videos, no, I'm content. I'm okay. I'm good. Like they say, I'm good, bro. You know, I'm good. I'm good. Anyhow, I just thought I wanted to share that really quick because I did mention in my other video that I hadn't uploaded Friday's video, but it was because I completely forgot. Yeah, I forgot to include something, and then, like I said, I rambled on about something else. My squirrel brain got into another subject that was kind of serious, and I'm like, why the hell did I even bring that up? This is supposed to be a funny video, you know, not serious. And then all of a sudden, in between all that, I brought that up, and I'm like, what? No. Love you all. Thank you for listening, and I will talk to you all again soon. Bye.